Hey, one, two. Playing Dwarf Fortress. This is my second time playing Dwarf Fortress. I started the first time, but I am not sure about that fortress, because I embarked on a place and like entire sea level was like an aquifer, and I couldn't tackle it. I couldn't understand it in the first go, and I completely like missed the trading thing and could not do anything. I'm gonna create a new world. This time I'm going to do the tutorial, do it like properly, and I have a playlist of guiding the playthrough through the tutorial, creating the world. So let me just get into it. Oh, okay. So the history has been generated. The age of myth, year 100. There are 30,322 historical figures and 2,036 events total. And I guess these are the major events. The early summer of 80, the Oak Cliffs constructed cave ship. In the early spring of 84, the Stoke realm defeated the ramparts of Dormant, destroyed Hush, Hushbelines. In the early springs of 88, the dragon Otak brand sweltered. The Parsh was struck down by a dwarf in splattered suits. In the mid-autumn of 91, the record of mating was created in deeper nets by the dwarf Hikut Trampleted. In 94, the mated pearls of the fog of dunks founded Campbell's Spring. In 97, the Huguenot door polish constructed stream feet for the Aqua Order. In 100, the human Winnat skirt plates became the lawgiver of the Stoke. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like follow this tutorial over here. I think this one's a simple tutorial.
Hello everyone, how's it going?
Guys, people like
Dr. Incompetent here, and let's do a complete beginner's guide
yeah, it's a beginner's
to
guide
Dwarf
and takes
Fortress,
you through the
shall we? The
tutorial.
Steam version of the game
So
here in
that's what I wanna
2023.
learn.
So, Dwarf Fortress is a game that I've loved for a long time. I have played for over 10 years, I believe, on the previous incantation of Dwarf Fortress, which was downloadable through Bay 12 Games, and now it's come to Steam and some things have changed. So in this guide, what I'm going to do is present it so that new players who've never played Dwarf Fortress can get into it and enjoy it, and players who may have played in the past on the previous version can understand what has changed in the Steam version with the new controls, UI, etc. So what we're going to do in this complete beginner's guide is start up a brand new world, and we're going to walk through this together using the in-game tutorial, my own experience with the game, and things that I've learned over the years watching fantastic guide videos by Captain Duck, Nucrium, things like that, and put together a package so that if you've never played or you've played a little bit and you want the fundamentals, you'll find it here. I'm not going to spoil things for you. I'm not going to show you the fastest path to do, X, Y, and Z, or min-max, or, force you to play a certain way. But rather, what this guide is going to do is give you the tools to understand the fundamentals and the basics of the game, the controls, how to get your dwarves to do things, how to build, dig, and have fun, because this is a sandbox. It's about creating your own experience. And once the controls kind of fade away and you understand how to do what you're trying to achieve, this is truly one of the unique experiences in gaming. There's nothing else really like it. There are some games that are in this genre.
At the moment, I cannot mute the music from the world that I've generated. I've got to get into the game, and I can do that from there onwards. There's going to be a little bit of music from the video.
You get RimWorld, Oxygen not included. Lots of colony management games might come close to this, but this is the originator of so many tropes that now are mainstays in gaming culture. So I'm going to click on Create a New World. It says, "Welcome to Dwarf Fortress. Prepare to guide your stout charges to fortune in a world fraught with many perils. You'll begin by creating your world and watching the region's history unfold. Once this process is complete, you can prepare a group and send them out to seek wealth deep in the mountains. As you dig deeper and more citizens take up residence in your outpost, your doings will attract attention, both wanted and unwanted. Deal with challenges as they arise, and you might one day find that your humble settlement has grown to become a mountain home, the center of your civilization." And this is a kind of loose explanation of starting the game to give you direction. What you're doing in Dwarf Fortress is you lead a band of 7 dwarves who leave the mountain home and are looking to make a new settlement. You have to build everything from scratch, get things going, and you will eventually attract migrants, other dwarves who might want to live there and help you grow. You get to choose what you do. Do you want to be focused on combat? Do you want to be doing crafting? Do you want to just explore and dig in the mountains? Do you want to be a building, engineering civilization that, makes an amazing castle? You can do so many things in this game. It's fantastic. But it's so deep and complicated that it requires some guide, at least, to get you into the game beyond this screen. So we're going to click OK, and now we're going to create our world. So we have choices of what size of a world that we want, and the size of the world determines, of course, not only how big it is, but also how long it takes to create the world and how many things are going on. And for our tutorial, I'm just going to make a small world. This is fine with me, and history length 100 years is fine. You can toggle these to whatever you want. Just know that if you put these to longer history, larger world map, it's going to take longer for the game to generate your world and all of its history. Even with a good computer, it's going to take several minutes to generate your world because of just how many calculations the game is doing. It is out of whole cloth procedurally creating not only an entire world and its topography, its geography, its water and mountains and flora and fauna, it is creating civilizations that rise and fall, the history, the battles, the wars, the people, the events. All of this stuff is being meticulously and nuanced to a degree that is seldom seen in gaming. Is what you get, a rich tapestry of a history that you get to take part in, and that takes some time. So number of civilizations, medium is fine. I'm going to leave most of this on default. Maximum number of sites, that's fine. Natural savagery. Now you could set this to lower if you don't want to deal with animals attacking your dwarves. I'm okay with medium. It's just a known quantity that we have to be careful if we're messing around outside because of bears, birds, crocodiles, whatever it might be. And mineral occurrence, I like it to be everywhere so that you aren't desperately searching for certain minerals you might need for crafting, but again, you can adjust this however you like. So the only thing I'm changing from the default settings is the world map size from medium to small, and I'm going to click Create World. You can go to detailed mode on that screen if you want and tailor your experience even more, but I'm just going to try to jump into the game and not worry too much about that, because I'm going to just say that this is perhaps our first run. And right away, you can see that it's populating the world. Look, you can see the civilizations, the roads, the villages, the castles coming in. You could see, okay, here's this land mass, and here's some rivers, and here's some mountains. And so because we only did 100 years, and we did a small world, it actually generated much faster than I thought, but it's not entirely done. This is just some of it. So at this point, you can read right here that we're in the Age of Legends, year 100. There's already been 4,896 historical figures generated, and this is an abridged chronicle of over 30,000 events that the game generated. And so, like, for example, we can see in 99, the elf Lolama Brushadatom became, or how about I read this correctly? Brushed Autumn. But Brushed Autumn sounds, well, it sounds wrong. How about Brushed Autumn became the druid of the brown pine? And then the elf Fadale Meatshore became the druid of the brown pine. And you can see just some important things that are going on here. And you can look at the world and you can choose if you want to keep it or not. When I move my mouse to the right side of the screen, I can actually target tiles on this map. I can move this around with WASD or hold down the middle mouse button to kind of drag it around. And when I hover over with the mouse, it'll tell you information about a particular tile. So you can try to find like a settlement that might be attractive. Like, what's this right here? Oh, it's a goblin fort. Well, we don't want to probably be living next to the goblins. What's this over here? So this is a temperate freshwater marsh. The temperature's warm. There's trees. It's a woodland. There's not much other vegetation. It's an untamed wilds. And it's by this stream called Flashed Helm, the Lucky Belts. What a good name for a stream. And there's an aquifer here with some deep soil and some other minerals that you can see are in this area. So I'm just going to say, all right, this looks pretty good to me. Let's play now. So now it's continuing to save the world, offload the...
Okay, so I'm in the same screen, but instead of a small world, I just started off with the medium or the default settings. So, and this is the serious layer. Stream, Rent, tab, close. It's the road. It's a Dwarf Fortress. I think that's a place that's this series there, and mysterious dungeon. There's a word on the side as well. Let me see if I can zoom out. No. They already zoomed out, right? Other vegetation things, temperate, heavily forested. Okay, this is the world that has been generated. Age of the Myth. Play now. Once this happens, I'm going to continue. I'm just going to go step by step and just follow the guide, the beginner's guide. Last time, okay, I'm over here. Obviously, you have to, we'll be doing fortress mode.
units and this might take several minutes depending on your size. And once this is done, you get to this screen where you could play in Fortress mode, Adventurer mode, or Legends mode. And Adventurer mode is coming soon, and this is kind of like a single-player roguelike almost experience where you generate the world and you get to walk around as just one dwarf playing an RPG. Then Fortress mode is what we're going to be doing. It's the traditional colony management form of Dwarf Fortress, and Legends mode is more focused on the lore, and you get to see in detail all of those events that have been generated and just kind of see what the procedural history has created. But we're going to go with Fortress mode. And now it's passing a few weeks to...
So I'm just gonna so yeah, this is the RPG thing, RPG mode. This is to read and get to know about the history of the world that has been generated, and this is the Fortress mode. And passing a few weeks, and over here, yes. Would you like your fortress located in a forested, mineral-rich region of this world where you can play through a short tutorial? Non-interactive help will be available whenever you decide. Yes, that is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I didn't do last time.
Get things ready, and boom. We jump into the game, and it says quick start and short tutorial. So I recommend, if this is your first time playing Dwarf Fortress, do the tutorial. This will help you tremendously. Even if you've played before on the non-Steam version, do the tutorial, because it will tell you like the key bindings, the UI. It will just explain things in a nice way so that you can know how to play this version of the game. So we're going to do the tutorial together, but if you don't want to, you can of course just skip it. I'm going to say start tutorial. Okay. So at this point...
Okay, so this is automatically going to be selecting a place for me. Start tutorial. Oh, she's next to... Okay, now that we're on this screen, let's...
Pairing the map. They're zooming us in.
At the moment, what I'm going to be doing over here is... Okay, I cannot. I wanted to
now,
reduce the
when you
volume
click
of
Start Tutorial,
music
the game kind of picks a place for you to settle. So, in this case, it has already put us down in a location. Now, you might not want to do this. If you don't want to do the tutorial, you play the more traditional mode of Dwarf Fortress where you can potentially plan carefully and select what you take with you, what animals, what items. You can select more carefully where your settlement is to begin. But if you do the tutorial, it just kind of drops you into a place it considers favorable and gives you a default loadout of items, which is fine for learning the game. So boom, we arrive in this spot, and it says a dwarven outpost. You have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Nomakatan. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, or hook, provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the dingoes get hungry. Right. So we don't want winter to entomb us without supplies, and we don't want the dingoes to get hungry and eat our dwarves. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place, Estetol Saber Pass. Strike the earth. So the game is procedurally generated, meaning all of this is random. It's going to be different.
1 second. And we're off the Urus Ked, a Darwin outpost. You have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all of Urus Ked. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, or hook, provide for your doors. You are expecting the supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to dwell secure lodgings ere the dingoes get hungry. A new chapter of Darwin history begins here at this place. Vukarodim unvaded. Strike the earth. Yes, sir.
Based on, your seed, and you won't have a map that looks the same as mine, and your dwarves will be named differently, but your supplies should be the same. Okay, So we're going to say okay here. And the first thing the game wants to tell us is about how to control the camera. So this blue box comes up here in the upper right, which is the tutorial window. So these are marked by the question mark and the kind of blue outline of the box. These kind of golden outlined boxes are the UI windows. And you can see there are UI elements that run across the top on a ribbon. There's an upper right minimap element. There is a slider on the right. There are buttons in the lower left, buttons in the bottom center, and some buttons in the bottom right of our default UI. So right now, we can just move the camera around using WASD, and you can change the camera's elevation by pressing E or C or rolling the mouse wheel. So this is something that confuses me every single time I play. Rolling the mouse wheel does not zoom you in and out. It changes the...
Okay, so there are some buttons on the right. Open the squad sidebar, open the world screen. I think my camera a little upwards. That could help as well. Yeah.
elevation. So for example, right now I'm looking at this tree trunk right here, but if I actually roll up by pushing E, I'm moving up, and now the ground becomes grayed out because I am 1 Z level above the ground. And if I push E again, you can start to see the leaves that are growing higher up on the tree. And if I push E again, I'm now, to the very tippy tops of the tree, and you can just see these pieces of leaves at this level of elevation. And I can start pushing C to go back down, or I can just roll up and down with my mouse itself. Now, if I were to push C from this ground screen, I go underground. And I can't really see much underground because my dwarves haven't been there, but I can see the water down here from these lakes, for example, or these little ponds, whatever you want to call these deposits of water. And it explains this right here in the tutorial. It says the view will be dark underground until you begin mining. You can move the camera to the surface with the surface button. The F1 key will recenter on your wagon. And so the surface button is over here in the upper right. It looks like a kind of like green hills in a blue sky, and you just click this to like make sure you get to the surface. So if you're like way up high, you can click this button to go right back down to the surface level. It's super useful. You can also go way up, and like let's say we're down here, you can push F1 and it targets us on the wagon. And it also changes, so it changes not only our X and Y position, but it changes our Z level to go back to the wagon. So if you ever lose your wagon, just push F1 to come back to the wagon. All right, and we're just going to say next. You can zoom in and out of the play area using the left bracket and the right bracket, or you can use control and mouse wheel. So if you use control and the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out, which is super awesome. It's just if you try to use the mouse wheel by itself, you get this, like I'm way under the ground and I need to push F1 to get back to my wagon. So you can play at whatever zoom level you like. The original Dwarf Fortress is more like a zoom at this level, where the people are super small, but you could see a lot of the game world. I myself love the sprite set that they have here, the tile set, so I play a little bit more zoomed in than the normal view, and let's actually zoom in this far. Okay, this is great. So...
Okay. So, strike the earth. Okay. Your view is focused on one elevation at a time. To move your camera around, press WASD or hold the middle mouse button and drag. Okay, now it's time to move the camera up. Upwards, now it's tippy top trees. And back to the surface with this button. WASD to change the camera elevation. And to change the camera elevation, press E and C or roll the mouse wheel, hold shift to move faster. Move up and okay, this also. When your view is in the air above other tiles, you can see them below, but you can only interact with objects in your current elevation. The view will be dark underground until you begin mining. You can move the camera to the surface with the surface button, which is there, highlighted. The F1 hotkey will be set to your value. Cool. Next, you can zoom in and out of the play area using the left bracket, right bracket, control mouse wheel. or the indicated buttons are these. Zooming out, zooming out, zooming out. I guess this is cool. Switch. Okay, let's continue the tutorial. Guide.
They're telling us how to mine now. It's time to get to work. Let's start by digging a stairwell into the ground. There may be plenty of hillside to dig into, but you'll want to seek wealth below the surface. Mining tasks are designated on a play area. Begin by clicking the highlighted mining button. Alright, so the mining button is down here, and they're highlighting it. It is in the bottom center of our heads-up display, or HUD, or the UI, whatever you'd like to refer to this as. And you can either click on this, or you can push M as the hotkey to start mining. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to move the camera around, and we have started in a very flat area. There's like some water, and there's no hills to speak of. This is like a very, very tiny valley or woods with flat land. And this is fine. Here is some hills right over here. So I actually love hills. And I like hills because they provide an interesting way to start having a base.
Okay, so let me look at the hills. We have the hills right next to it. We are on a hill. I don't know what this is. Later on, but I have the hills right next to my wagon. We are on a hill, so what my dwarf do is come over here and dig into here. I guess that is what is going to be taught next.
It doesn't immediately require digging out Z levels below the surface. That we get an option of kind of digging right into the wall and then creating our base inside this, and then we can have some levels even above if we want to make rooms that are higher up on this mountain. And you can just keep pushing E to go up, and you can see how many Z levels up this top level of the mountain is. So I'm actually going to push C and go down to the ground level, the surface, and I'm going to dig our home into the mountain. The only problem with that is you can see in the minimap in the upper right corner, there's a kind of an orange dot that is our wagon. And by the way, I explain things very thoroughly, so it takes a long time to kind of get through all of the information. But as a teacher, for over 18 years, I find that being thorough is the best way to communicate all of the information. And luckily for us, the game is paused right now. So you can see there are time controls in the upper right. It is paused, so nothing is happening. So we can freely explore and talk about things. You can look around, you can mouse over things, but the mouse over isn't working right now because of the tutorial taking over. But anyway, if I left click on this, oh no, it doesn't want me to do anything except for the tutorial. Right. All right. Now, I'm going to explain a few things about the UI right now, just so you know where things are. So if we look at the top center, it tells us kind of, the name of our kingdom or our group, the area that we're in. It tells us how many population we have. We have 7 dwarves right here, and it tells you what level of happiness your dwarves are at. Our dwarves are all right in the middle. They're neither happy nor sad. You can see our reserves of food, drink, seeds, meat, fish, and plant. These are the things that we need to eat and drink. We got to keep everybody fed. We got to get people to have enough to drink. We've got to be able to grow crops, on and on. Then it tells you what day it is, what year it is, what season it is in this top ribbon. Over here in the upper right, we've got the time controls, we've got the mini-map, and we have some other features that we will describe, like the surface button, or you can actually go to the deepest discovered area. So you're going to be doing this a lot as you dig deeper and deeper. You can zoom in on the play area, so you have buttons to zoom in and out up here, and you can also shows up and down ramps, over ramps, or you can display the water and magma depth numerically like in the classic game. So if I click this button, for example, no, it's not actually doing it. There we go. So now it is. When I go down a level, you can see that this is very, very deep water. So this is saying like 7 is as deep as this water could possibly be. So this is all deep water, but you don't have to put that on. You can also see ramps. I'll show you some. Oops, that's zooming in and out. Let me zoom back out and go up. down over here, and you can kind of see, if I click this ramps button, all of these slopes around this mountain are easily identifiable as up and down arrows. Like if I go up, you can see like, okay, this is a down slope, it's going up. But I'm going to turn it off because I don't personally need it at the moment. Now, I'm going to push M to start mining. Once you go into mining mode, all right, you can see that the game gets cut up into this kind of grid, and you can see much clearer where each individual tile is. So there are several ways to mine. Stairwells selected start at one elevation and are completed on the next. Stairwells are a complicated thing that we will discuss in a moment. But for right now, what we want to do, they want us to do a stairway because if you don't have a mountain to dig into, then you're going to go underground by digging a stairwell. Now, we'll get to that in a moment, but I'm actually going to cut us into this mountain that's kind of on the bottom corner of our map. Because I personally just like having the home start in a mountain like this. So I'm going to click and I'm going to zoom in using Control and the mouse wheel. And I'm just going to start, I'm going to say, you know what? I think that this place right here looks like a good area to come inside. And I'm going to just mouse up, look at the elevation up here. This is fine. Okay. And I'm going to go down one level, push F1, and I'm going to say, you know what, let's dig. So I'm going to click right here, and this is mining. Now, I don't want to stair mine. I just want to, oh, yeah, I'm trying to just regular mine. I don't know if they're making me stair mine. No, good, okay.
Okay, so I need to find an area like that. There are a bunch of elevations over here as well. One. So we are over here. Bottom of this thing. And I guess we're on the highest. Oops, going down. We're on the highest ones. We're on the top of the hill, mountain. This is going downwards, okay. This is going downwards. So what I could do is I could go like in from here, which is a good thing, or here. Seems like a nice place. Going from this one level there as well. This 3 levels. This is one as well. This one I can like, there's like a yup, there's a place like this. And there's a place like this, but then it's too far away, I guess, like from my thing. Probably not. There's somewhere over here. Oh, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the final one. This seems like a nice place. Similar kind of place. So if I could do this. So let me just see what is happening over there. 3. 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's good.
So I have started a little bit of a mining section by left-clicking and then clicking again to kind of draw a rectangle or a path. I like to have my tunnels all be 3 by 3, but you can do 2 by 2 if you want. I do not recommend that you dig a tunnel only one tile wide.
Okay, 3 by 3 is what's gonna happen. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Loop. Oops. Three. Am I doing it right? The entrance is gonna be 2 and then I'm gonna make I want to just hit through here as well. Okay, anyways, it's very close to that. So.
Because your dwarves will get in each other's way, and it will take time for them to have to walk through. Imagine if people are trying to come in and out, and there's only one square that's as wide as one human being for you to get around in. You need to make it wide enough so that they can walk around each other. So they want us to start a stairwell, which is fine. We can do that, and I will do it in here. So we're going to keep digging, and I'm just going to click again to dig like this, and I'm going to just left-click here and just draw. So we have a hallway coming in and a hallway over here, and then I'm going to make, at this point, here a stairwell.
I'm just going to do this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4. And then on the 8, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This.
So I'm going to click mining again, and I'm going to click stairwell. Now it says dig a stairwell on this level going up or down. And so we click the stairwell to start it, all right? And I'm going to just start a 2 by 2 stairwell. I used to always do 3 by 3 stairwells, but I've been told that when your fortress gets more people in it and things get more complicated, that it can slow down your PC if you have a 3 by 3 stairwell, that it's notoriously bad on systems. So we'll just go with a 2 by 2 stairwell. Again, you don't want a one-tile stairwell because everyone will have to take turns coming up and down. So I'll make a 2 by 2 like this, and this is starting the stairwell, but it won't let me click because it says it must span multiple elevations. So what we want to do then is push C to go downward, and then I go up with E, and so you can see I've started this.
Okay, got it. Now a stairwell. One level down. This is the aquifer. Yes. Oh man, there's a lot of water over here. Okay, now we'll unpause.
Stairwell, it goes up and then down. Now, in this case, we will now have access to this level. But if you wanted, you can dig stairs and you can like click and then you can go down again. And you'll now notice that this stairwell, one level down, is an up and down stair. So you could say, okay, go down.
Okay, so now what I can do is What is happening?
Down to this level. This is starting the stairwell, but it won't let me click because it says it must span multiple elevations. So what we want to do then is push C to go downward, and then I go up with E, and so you can see I've started the stairwell. It goes up and then down. Now, in this case, we will now have access to this level. But if you wanted, you can dig stairs and you can like click and then you can go down again. And you'll now notice that this stairwell, one level down, is an up and down stair. So you could say, okay, go down to this level.
I don't understand what's happening.
This is starting the stairwell, but it won't let me click because it says it must span multiple elevations. So what we want to do then is push C to go downward, and then I go up with E. And so you can see I've started the stairwell. It goes up and then down. Now, in this case, we will now have access to this level. But if you wanted, you can dig stairs and you can like click and then you can go down again. And you'll now notice that this stairwell...
Okay, so top is 49. He went to 48 first.
Now,
and
in this
47 as
case,
well.
we will now have access to this level. But if you wanted, you can dig stairs and you can like click and then you can go down again. And you'll now notice that this...
Okie dokie, understood. So at 48, click and I go down again. And now I'll notice it goes up and down there.
stairwell, one level down, is an up and down stair. So you could say, okay, go down to this level, and we're one level below the Earth surface now, and then now we're 2 levels down. And you can do this as deep as you want. And I'm going to unpause the game by clicking spacebar, and now the game is going. So what's happening is that the dwarves that are assigned to mining will pick up a mining pick and will go...
Now my dwarf started mining. Gonna pause and watch what's happening over there.
mine, eventually. So, how does this work? What's going on? Here's a mining pick right here. Why is nobody using this? All right, let's go look at our mine and see if anybody's actually mining. Yes, one dwarf is over here mining. Now it's time to talk about how to play Dwarf Fortress beyond just digging a cavern. The key thing you need to know about Dwarf Fortress is that you're not giving your dwarves direct commands. They have a hierarchy of priorities that you can govern.
Okay.
But they may or may not do what you want. So it's your job as a manager to kind of assign them to tasks and jobs, and usually they will fulfill them if their other requirements are met, they have the right tool, they're in the right mood, and on and on. So right now we have only one miner, but that's not enough miners. So I'm going to say, you know what, can I get some more miners? And so if I wanted to do that, okay, I would need to go into the labor zone. However, because we are doing the tutorial, they put on rails what you can do and when. So we cannot do anything else right now except for mining. So we'll do labor and get more dwarves mining soon. But for the time being, this dwarf is just going to mine this out. And notice how I can't choose like which square he mines. He's doing his thing. But there we go. And now he has finished.
Okay, let me wait till he finishes that thing to the stairways. Okay. I think it's finished too. So let's make safe space to work. Select regular mining mode. Large stockpile. Mine on the ground, I guess. Okay, the good thing is we didn't hit an active for. Now let's see what's happening over here.
With the stairs. If I go down, you can see he's dug one of these out, and he's working on this tile. If it's blinking like this, this means that he's working, or some dwarf is working on this. So I'm going to unpause the game, and now it's telling me, let's make a safe place to work. Select regular mining mode to the left of the stair mining. So I'll push mining again, and it's this right here, just this green mode that we used to cut into the mountain already. And they want us to dig rectangle underground big enough for a large stockpile and some workshops. Consider that most workshops are 3x3 squares. Mining through the stone layers further down may take longer, but it leaves boulders, which are essential building material. This is another reason why I usually like digging into dirt hills when we start, because you'll notice that this floor is dirt, and this means like it's not as hard for us to dig through. There's not as many rocks that we have to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and continue mining this out, but they want us to make some rooms. So we're going to finish this hallway. And here is our base right here. And I want to show you, we're coming in right here. I didn't remove this ramp. We actually want to remove the ramp. And so I'm going to click to cut away this ramp, this kind of like anti-stairway button. We're designating this to be removed. So I don't want there to be a ramp right here. It's awkward to have people be able to walk down to the front of the base like this. But notice how when I go up one tile, I'm not removing the whole tile. It's not like Minecraft where you're like chopping away the whole thing and then there's no ceiling anymore. I'm cutting a tunnel into this, but it doesn't remove this tile that's above it.
Okay, I understand. So if I click this in the anti-staircase thing, I can remove the ramp. But he only removed 2, so I'm gonna cancel it and watch it.
Alright, so we're going to start making some rooms. We need to make stockpiles, but they need to be kind of big. Stockpiles are places. I'm going to push F1 to go back to our wagon. I'm going to zoom in.
Okay, so over here, it's leaving 1. I guess I'll leave this one. So this is the straight line. Okay, let's make a safe place to work. Select regular mining mode to the left of the stair mining mode. Dig a rectangle underground big enough for large stockpile, some workshops. Consider that most workshops are 3 by 3 squares. Mining through the stone layers further down may take longer, but it leaves boulders for the essential building materials. Later, you can consider making a meeting area from the zone's venue. Otherwise, your citizens will continue to gather by the wagon outside. Okay, let's see what's happening over here.
A little bit. You can see on our stockpile, we've got all sorts of things, tools, food, all these things that we brought with us. We don't want these to be left out in the open because if they are, animals could just wander off with them. They can spoil, they can go bad, they can attract flies. So instead, we want to bring all that stuff inside to protect it. So I'm going to start carving up some stockpiles. Now, what I always do when I'm making a new base and I'm cutting into these first few floors, these are like temporary floors. I don't plan on making this permanently my entrance. I might make another entrance later. This is kind of just a rough and ready way for us to get situated, and I will tweak this later. So I'm going to build a room that looks like this with a doorway right there. So we have this main hallway coming in, and then you have to connect it with one tile of a doorway. You can make doorways bigger, but I like to make just one little tile door. That way we can open and close doors.
I think like 4 by 5. So dig over here. One, two, three, four, five. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3. I'm just gonna make this. Done. These are rooms. This area is going to be stockpile. Let's see what's happening.
And you generally want to be able to open and close doors to keep things contained for security. And then I'm going to start making some rooms that are, I like to just make the old 5 by 5 room like this. And the only problem with this is you can see it's right up against a hallway. Well, I don't want that. So how do I get rid of that? Well, in the tutorial, I'm not allowed to actually click on the remove designation tiles just yet. So what this means is that we're going to have something that we don't really want right here, but that's okay. So we're going to make a massive stockpile right over here. So what I'm going to do is continue this hallway down here, and I'm going to actually just create a giant stockpile that goes right off of this hallway so that we have a place to put everything. I'm going to unpause the game and let my people start working on some rooms. Now, I'm not going to hash everything out right now. I'm just going to watch this guy dig, and when it says room completed, it's just tiles dug. So he's digging through, and this will... complete this very rapidly. I'm not going to assign any more things that I want because I don't want him to start working on a stockpile right over here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Here. So what I'm going to do is continue this hallway down here, and I'm going to actually just create a giant stockpile that goes right off of this hallway so that we have a place to put everything. I'm going to unpause the game, and
No giant stockpile. Later on, I'll work this up there. Push this. I'll just do whatever it is doing.
and let my people
Mining is 2 of 8. I accidentally closed 2, 3, 4. 3 is this. 4 I click. I accidentally missed 4. So right now what I can do is I can click.
start working on some rooms. Now, I'm not going to hash everything out right now. I'm just going to watch this guy dig. And when it says room completed, it's just tiles dug. So he's digging through, and this will complete this very rapidly. I'm not going to assign any more things that I want because I don't want him to start working on a project that I'm not interested in him doing. You can see he took care of these ramps, He's working on removing this, and we say, okay, we did it. And now it says the supplies on the wagon. Are in danger of being carried off by wild creatures. It's time to build a stockpile underground to unload them, which is what we're doing right now. Stockpiles are crucial to moving supplies around your fortress where they are needed. Stockpiles are placed with the stockpile button, which is down here and has a kind of like red rope around it, and this little sign with like a white cross on it, basically, white plus sign. And we can click on this to make a stockpile. So we click stockpile, and it says click the add button right here, which is the stockpile button with the plus, and then you're just going to draw it in just like you did with mining. And I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to make this whole room a stockpile. So I kind of selected it, and it smartly just adjusts, I'm going to pause the game, to trace the borders of this room. Now, this means that there is a stockpile here, but you can control what people will store in here. So once it's placed, we need to click the accept button in the upper left to say, okay, this is good. And then now it says you can name this stockpile, so it's stockpile number 1. And it says it wants us to select the all option, which is this infinity symbol. This means that everything will go into this stockpile. Now, I actually don't want to do this. For now, because this is a smaller stockpile, it's told me I'm okay, I can get past the tutorial. I'm going to actually select that I want food to be in this stockpile, and that's it. So I'm going to just say food, and then we are good to go right here. We can rename this if we want. We can repaint it if we want. We can toggle whether the stockpile can take items from anywhere, or if it's only for one workshop. We can connect it to a workshop. We can remove it. We can set how many barrels and bins and whatever. And at this point, we're okay with this, so we say okay. And
let me look at my stockpile. Custom. I'm gonna remove wood as well. Yep.
I am going to just finish placing stockpiles like that. So I'm just closing the stockpile button, and you can see that on this little sign, it tells us what's in.
Okay, wood cutting. With shelter ready underground, it's time to build. First, you'll need building materials like wood or boulders. Before you start chopping down trees, you may want to create a dedicated wood stockpile. You will also drop wood in all your stockpile unless you turn it off. Yes, this is what I want to do right now. One. My stuff is going from there. Why do we get lost like this? The staircase is not like that. Coming here. Okay, what I can do is it's already another stockpile. I can set another stockpile. But in the meantime, what I can do is stockpile. Small no stockpile over here. So that if there's something over there, it can be stored here. So now the next thing the tutorial wants me to do is cut some trees. And then after that it's going to be building workshop. Now that you have the building materials, it's time to start building. Workshops are one of the many buildings you can place with your hide and build button. Click now. I'm going to wait for it. Just some trees are going to be cut. And I'm going to watch this.
The stockpile, and there's like a mushroom and some water, meaning like food goes in here. Now they're saying it's time to build, so we need wood and boulders. So we should start cutting down trees, but we also need a wood stockpile. So here's what I'm going to do. We're still digging this out, and it's going to take a while. So I'm going to just push the stockpile button, and I'm going to create a stockpile that is right by our entrance that's this big, just a 4x4, and I'm going to say accept in the upper left, and I'm just going to click on wood. This is...
I'm just doing extra right now. A lot of wood I wish I could cancel.
just a wood stockpile. And once I'm happy with that, I can push P or click on the stockpile button to close this up. And now you see this little picture on the flag. It's wood. It's a wood stockpile. Now they want us to cut down trees. So we can click on this and this second button over. So it's one button right of the mining. You'll see kind of an axe and a tree stump. And this is chopping. You can push L to get to this, or you can select it. And then you just click, left click, and then drag out a big rectangle. And then click again. And then any tree within this, it's got a little axe icon, means that whoever is assigned to wood cutting, if they have an axe and they're not doing something else, they will come and chop down these trees. Now it tells us that haulers will take items to the stockpile. This is something new if you've never played this version of the game before. But in the Steam version, just about everyone is set to haul and do some labor by default. It didn't used to be that way. You used to have idling people, dwarves, all the time. For the most part, once you get some job set up, your dwarves will stay busy. And it's just an interesting change to the way that the game used to flow. But if I unpause this, you'll notice, okay, that lots of our dwarves are going to start getting to work. So I'm going to push F1 to go back to our wagon, and I'm going to unpause it. And you'll start to see just about every dwarf is going to start doing something. And they are going to be picking up stuff to take to our stockpile. Now there's on the left of the screen, there are some alerts. It's saying that the miner cannot dig right here, so we can just right-click on this. This says we have struck cassiterite, and so, or cassiterite. This is basically...
Let me just look at my things. I have 2 left click on 3. Light night, green, short line, and cancels the RAM. Okay, we have 2 going on here. We're heading upwards. Something has collapsed on the surface. There is there there? We're over here. No? Over here. So this has collapsed. Building.
we explain, like, whenever you strike a new mineral, it will tell you, and then it started raining. So I'm just going to dismiss these, and let's go down here and watch all of our dwarves start carrying things over to the stockpiles. So this tree is blinking right here because the lumberjack dwarf is going to come chop the tree. This tile is blinking because our mining dwarf is working on mining this away, and the other dwarves are all going to be working on putting stuff in the stockpile. So you see they're all carrying this food to the stockpile, and I really want to keep our food safe. Okay, so now wood cutting is done. And now it says building. Now that you have the building materials, which we have some wood here, it's time to start building. Workshops are one of the many buildings you can place with the highlighted build button. Click it now. So the build button is this hammer and these bricks in the bottom center of the heads-up display. And if we click on this, it says most workshops require building materials such as wood or boulders. If you have some wood stockpiled, you'll be able to place a carpenter's workshop. Click workshops, then carpenter, and place the shop in an empty area on the surface or underground. So we definitely want to build a carpenter's workshop. And I'm going to build it outside temporarily next to this wood stockpile, but very, very soon we're going to move it inside when I can assign more miner dwarf.
So now what we've got this and this part. Outside over here, like right here. A rock, tree, line block, garden,
It takes forever right now because I can only assign one dwarf in the tutorial to do this. But for now, I'm just going to click workshops right here in these kind of like teal options. And these don't disappear. So the down yellow arrow on the heads up display indicates what kind of category you are nested inside. So we are under the build structures category. And if we want to close this, we can just push this. But we can also go back to it by pushing B or hitting the hammer. And then we got here, you can click any of these to open up a screen. If there is no screen to open up for more options, it'll be white, like Trade Depot is just the end of that line. But if I open up workshops, it pops open a whole nother area, and it says, what do you want to make? Well, we want to make a carpenter's workshop. So we click on this, and you can see like I have a ghosted 3x3 of the carpenter's workshop. It says, select material after placement or use closest material. So here's what I like to do. When you are building, okay, I like to use closest material at the beginning of the game because I don't care really about what material I use for the construction. I just want it to get done. So I don't want to say, oh, only use like ash logs for this, and somebody's like wandering around the whole earth looking for ash logs. I'm just going to say, use closest material. Okay, so I select this second box. Now, if I'm going to build more than one thing, let's say you're building a whole bunch of doors in the game and you want to build doorways, then you check this box that says keep building after placement. But if you want to stop building after you're building it, don't have this checked. So I'm going to just put this workshop right here, okay? And then it's going to be constructed. When unpaused, a worker should now build this. Once it's done, click on the building to select it. So we're just going to unpause it, and we're going to see who's going to come build this for us. Yep, this person just comes in and builds it.
Okie dokie. Of course, perhaps. We don't know what's happening over there. The workshop's built. Okay, you're still Take one wood to build. Add a task to make a bed, chop down necessary wait for
And it's done. You can see like over time they add materials, and now it's finally done. There we go. And we can now click on the workshop and open up the workshop tab. And this over here, you can see the tutorial window is kind of shifted over to the right. It says your industrious citizens will perform any task added to the workshop. Most objects that are placed, like doors and furniture, must first be built in a workshop. Furniture created at the carpenter's workshop usually takes 1 wood to build. Add a task and make a bed. Chop down more trees if necessary. Unpause and wait for the bed to be completed. So just for the purposes of the tutorial, we're going to make a bed, but we want to make beds. We want to make at least 7 beds for all of our dwarves so they aren't sleeping on the ground. So I'm going to say add new task, and I'm going to select this top option, which is make a bed. But notice how in this task screen, I can actually type up here, and I can search for something. So if I want to make a bed, I can just type in bed, and it'll be like, oh, you want to make a bed? Or if I want to make a chair, I can make a chair. Or if I can make, let's see, a chest or something like that. Whatever I'm looking for, you can search it to see if it is here. I'm going to click make a bed. And what this does in teal, it's added a task of make a bed. It's at the top of the queue, and I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to unpause the game, and somebody should come make this bed. Yep, he took logs. He's working right here in the workshop, and he's working on this bed, and eventually he'll be done with it, and this will check off. Now, he's done. So now
must be a bed somewhere.
it says now that you have a bed, you can place it in the fortress. Now I'm actually going to use the build menu to place it in a room. Okay, I'm going to right click to close the workshop menu, and they want us to place a bed. Now I can left click on the workshop again. I'm actually going to make more beds, and I want to make 6 beds, right? So I'm going to say, can you make more beds than this? Well, we can repeat this task indefinitely if we want, or we can just make beds until we have more beds. Now there's better ways to do this, but right now this is just kind of, what we've got going, and you just manually select, okay, I want this many beds. Now, on these buttons, you can make it infinitely. You can highest priority. You can push this to like raise this task up to a higher level of priority. You can select details. You can pause the task, or you can outright cancel it. I'm going to go ahead and just keep making beds until I have enough for everyone, because I want to have people have labor. I'm going to right click on this. Now, look at this. I'm going to pause the game. This whole room is done. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to push P for stockpile, and I'm going to then click the plus button to add a stockpile, and I'm going to paint in an enormous stockpile right here. So I'm going to mess with this stockpile because we already have a food stockpile and a wood stockpile. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click this button that says custom, and I'm going to go and I'm going to say, okay, select everything. It automatically will say no corpses and no refuse, but I'm going to click on food, and then in this second panel, I'm going to click none, and this means no food. Now, if you want to be more specific than that, you can just select all again, and then you can just say, no, I don't want any meat, and click none.
Okay, I understand. So I guess like he's separating the food and other stuff. But food rots if other stuff's there with it. Let me make this normal. And save, save, leave this one. This one. And allow. Just gonna save here and this one. Not allow. It doesn't have food. Movie. Oh shit. No stone. No. This is all food then. Pausing this again, watching.
On this third panel. But I'm going to say actually none. I don't want any food here. And then I'm also going to click on wood at the bottom. And I'm going to say I don't want any wood here either. Click none on the available panel. So I don't want any wood or food in this stockpile. And then I'm going to just right click to close. Close this up and unpause the game. And we need to place a bed. But that's going to require that we have a bedroom. So what I'm going to do is actually dig out next door here this giant room like this. And this is going to be our dormitory. So once our miner gets back into the flow of actually mining, and if I go down, you can see he's done with everything. He's not mining at the moment. He's like moving goods around or something. He will come back and he will start mining because that is like his top priority.
Okay, let me just make one room for a dorm as well. Five by five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. temporary for now because later on I'm just gonna make it dormitory and that's it. I think level 3.
Should be. And, well, maybe not. Let's see if anybody will start mining here.
See, am I dead?
All right, that guy was drinking. All the animals are in the food stockpile, mysteriously. And this will be easier once we can more directly assess, like, adjust the labor. But we're not able to do that at the moment. So we just kind of have to wait for this portion of the tutorial to pass. There's a mining pick right here. Let's see, they're getting the supplies. Oh, it looks like they're just about done chopping down the trees, to be honest. All right. The stray cat has adopted the mason, which is funny. Like, the animals actually adopt the dwarves in this game. All right, now he looks like he might mine. No, he took his mining pick away. He wants to do something else. That's sad. Okay, let's see here. Now here somebody's coming. Now, it's actually possible that they weren't mining because I didn't close mining mode. I didn't right-click away, and so I was still in the grid, so maybe the job hadn't registered yet. We've struck resin opal. You can see it right there. That's great. So in this room, I'm going to start placing furniture. So we place beds underground. So we're going to go to the build screen, and we're going to go to the furniture screen, just like we built the workshop, except instead of workshops, we're going to furniture, and we just select bed right here. And again, I'm going to keep the building after placement because I'm going to be placing multiple beds. I'm using the closest material, which is just like the closest bed that's possible. If you were making a room for like a prince or something like that, and you wanted it to only be the nicest bed you had, in that case, maybe you wouldn't use closest material, you'd use a specific bed. All right, so I'm going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds like this. I actually put down 8 beds, but that's fine. So now the beds are placed.
So, build menu, furniture, bed. Basement. 1. Escape. Build. Furniture. We have 6 beds, and the 7th one. Yeah. Place bed's been done. Place bed. With the bed placed, your worker will have somewhere to sleep. Later, you can create a room with a door. Use the zones menu to assign official bedroom for each resident. Okay. Information sheet. The rest of the interface is now enabled. You can click on creatures and items just as you can click on buildings to get all of them. Click on a resident to see their needs. Inventory. Yep, I need to see if my woodworker. Wake up one. We should all be so lucky as to truly master a skill. People satisfied after feeling so annoyed after knocked out during a save and satisfied after feeling complete health. Can not improve. Indeed. this? Just fighting.
Rude knockdown 338 ms. Viewers at TV Hum 7 Jet.
Click on a citizen of future. Feel free close information. Shit, my network is fighting. Network is saying network is using computer regain consciousness. Woodworker's right leg slipped along the ground, loosened the muscle through the cave spider's web. Archie has lost gravity. Release the middle of striking Woodworker's right axilla leaves the body. Oh shit, man. Our woodworker is bleeding over here. Trying to see to make a truck. If there is a how to treat a person. Shouldn't have happened early on in the game. Yeah, I need to go to the hospital before this person can be raised. Beds and all of that stuff. How am I going to get beds and stuff? Must alert 7. Important information. Some you can research something has collapsed on the surface